Hello and welcome to the LLG Grapevine podcast. You're listening to Helen McGrath, Head of Public Affairs, with your essential roundup of local government legal news. The government have introduced their COVID-19 Plan B restrictions to help limit the spread of the Omicron variant. The first regulations appeared on the 9th of December and came into force on the 10th as the Health Protection Coronavirus Wearing of Face Coverings England Amendment Regulations 2021. Questions have been raised by the inclusion of public halls in the list of places where face coverings are required to be worn, and reference to village halls, which is exampled in the government's guidance, face coverings, when to wear one exemptions, and how to make your own. LLG, along with ADSO, have today published a guidance document setting out the details of the regulations and confirming our position that council chambers are not public halls for the purposes of the regs. In terms of village halls, NALC have published guidance that parish or town meetings held in village halls will be caught by the regulations. We are writing again to the government to urge them to make immediate regulations to enable virtual meeting provision, given the increasing concern around COVID rates and the new variant. The News Ofsted have published their annual report, which warns that while the long-term effects of school closures are not yet known, nearly all children in England have suffered as a result of restrictions and repeated lockdowns, and that as we look forward to the year ahead, it's imperative that all parts of education and care systems are working to enable children of this generation to fulfil their potential. Ofsted's Chief Inspector, Amanda Spellman, said, "The challenges of COVID-19 were so great that nearly every child has felt the impact of the resulting restrictions. Many young children's progress and development faltered. Primary and secondary age children had their education and social lives disrupted from being in and out of school, away from their classmates. Children with SEND were unable to access the local support services they rely on. Further education students and apprentices saw their placements curtailed and job prospects limited. Children in care suffered as long-term issues in the system were exacerbated by staff shortages and isolation measures. In order to protect older generations, we asked the youngest generation to put their lives and education on hold. As we look forward to the year ahead, we must strive to redress the balance. Every generation gets one chance to enjoy its childhood and fulfill its potential. We must do all we can to make sure this generation is not denied this opportunity." Elsewhere, the Local Government and Social Care Ombudsman has called for greater powers to increase its jurisdiction across local government, strengthen its ability to handle adult social care and education complaints, and bolster public services through improved complaints handling. The service called for the reforms in its triennial review, in which it claimed it was hamstrung by outdated legislation rooted in a 1970s conception of public concerns, which does not match contemporary public expectations. Of particular interest to monitoring officers is the Ombudsman's call for explicit powers to investigate complaints about councillor conduct, where local systems have not achieved resolution. This, they say, should be a simple review system where either councillors or those making complaints about councillor conduct can come to the Ombudsman once the local complaint system has been exhausted. What is meant by resolution and exhausted remains to be seen. LLG are proactively communicating with the Ombudsman in respect to the finer detail, about which the triennial report helpfully states. We recognise it's important to work with the local government sector and relevant professional bodies to develop and refine this proposal to ensure it is proportionate, supports local autonomy, and reflects the diversity of approach in standards, policies and procedures across local government. Taken directly from the LGA's briefing, Chairman Councillor James Jameson and LGA Labour Group Leader Councillor Nick Forbes gave in-person evidence to the House of Lords Constitution Committee inquiry into the future governance of the UK. They spoke extensively on the importance of defragmenting local government funding as part of the levelling up agenda, made the case for ensuring place-based decision-making as opposed to a one-size-fits-all policy approach, and called for a cultural change across Whitehall that would place local authorities on an equal footing with government departments, given their track record of delivery as trusted partners during the pandemic. Above all, Councillor Jameson stressed that the Levelling Up White Paper presents an opportunity to reset the relationship between central and local government and puts councils at the heart of delivering the government. Above all, Councillor Jameson stressed that the Levelling Up White Paper presents an opportunity to reset the relationship between central and local government and put councils at the heart of delivering the government's ambitious programme to improve opportunities in all parts of the country. Just a note on the white paper, which was anticipated before the end of the year, the BBC reports that it will not be expected until next year, and that it understood the need to deal with the spread of the Omicron variant was among the reasons for this being pushed back. So we wait and see. And finally, if you enjoyed hearing from Joshua Rosenberg at our governance conference and want to know more about his views on 6-month limitation periods or the implications of Section 73 of the Public Health Act, then take a look at his blog dated the 8th of December. That's it from me, apart from to say that this is the last podcast of 2021, and we return in the new year, where I will be joined weekly by Dennis Hall, Bulletin Editor. You can read all the articles mentioned in this week's podcast and many more besides by going to Bulletin 47, available now on the LLG website. Have a good week and Merry Christmas, everyone.